Just keep doing what you're doing. B, keep an eye on people in the waiting room. Anybody else? Let's see where everyone is. Dilip, hello. Ursula, Diane, Alex, Pierre, welcome back. I was just on with Pierre a minute ago. Teresa, we've got you scheduled. Jeffrey C scheduled. All right, good. Excellent. So, how's everybody doing? What's going on?
Unbelievable.
Good.
Well.
I was supposed to start with, let me get this up and running. See if I can fix this. Hold on. All right. Do some of you guys remember what I asked you to do yesterday? Well, I mean, I gave you some homework. I gave you some questions to do.
Yeah.
But what was the, so what did we do? What did we talk about?
Triggers.
Triggers? Yeah.
Triggers.
Everybody, do you guys get in and answer those questions? Think about that. Do we have another Andrew coming in? Oh, yeah. Yes, no? Anybody write those down?
Some of them.
Some of them?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
We also had songs. You wanted our song.
Yeah. So, this is one of mine. Every day. Does anybody know what this is? I mean, I mentioned it the other day.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear
Nobody?
it, Andrew.
Uh-uh.
Is it I Get Knocked Down?
No. We talked about Chumbawamba.
Cannot hear it.
No?
Can't hear it.
No, it's
No.
No? Okay. Maybe I need to play it on the...
Africa, right?
There you go. Josh coming in strong. There you go. Thank you.
I said
Africa
it
by
like 3 times
Toto.
on mute.
oh, that's a good one.
Africa by Toto. That's so legitimately every single day I listen to that song. It is one of those ones that just gets me going. So what else? Ooh, share with me, guys. I want to talk a little bit about morning routine. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the aspects from Miracle Morning for Entrepreneurs, one of the books that we recommend. I know not as many people are reading it right now because we're reading everything else, but what are some songs you guys listen to? Talk to me, share, drop them into the chat.
Tina Turner, Simply the Best.
Simply, do you do that often? Do you rock out to that one?
Yeah, I put it on whenever I'm feeling a bit down, and obviously hearing I'm Simply the Best definitely helps.
That's cool. That's, I've asked a few times for lists, and that's the first time that one's popped up. That's cool, man. Whitney
Cool.
or Tina Turner, Simply the Best. Very cool. What else?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Hi, Bonnie Tyler.
What's that?
The Tiger's High by Bonnie Tyler.
Very cool. You Can't Stop Me. Sia, I'm Alive. Celine Dion, I'm Alive. I'm Still Standing. That's a fun one. Both the real one and the recent movie one that he did. Let's see. Playlist of 12 songs. Red Rider, Lunatic Fringe. Very cool. What else? Anybody else? I mean, Chumbawamba was one somebody brought up yesterday. That's a fun one. Anybody else have
Yes.
the Rocky tune? Yeah,
Yes, you
Eye of the
can.
Tiger is kind of a constant. That's one that a lot of people, that's kind of that classic go-to.
What's that? Yes, you can.
Yes, You Can. What
Yes,
song?
yes,
Who
you
sings that?
can. You can do anything if you try.
Beautiful
Just try.
Day.
I'm looking for the author, yeah. But you have to
Very cool.
believe and rely on what you have inside.
Maybe
You
we
can
just let
make
Vashti
it.
keep singing. We'll just keep rolling. That's great. Well done.
And the other
I
one
won't
that
put you guys through any. I won't put you guys through any karaoke here. I mean, I could maybe do some Vanilla Ice or something. This is it, Kenny Loggins. A Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins. That's a good one, right? Anyway, I bring this up, guys. That song though is legitimate as part of my morning routine. It is something that every single day I've added into the mix when when I'm getting myself up and rolling. It's just every single day I do it. So I want to talk about morning routines. I want to talk about the power of them, how to implement them, whether they work at all, right? Everybody's a little bit different. And we have spoken a bit about self-awareness, right? Great book that's not on my book list. A great book. Has anybody heard of StrengthsFinders 2.0? Yes, no. StrengthsFinder 2.0 is an awesome book.
No.
When you get it, it's like $15-20, but it also comes with an online test that you can take that gives you a report back of who you are, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. It's a little bit different than the Myers-Briggs, a bit more in depth. Honestly, the first time I did it and I read the report, has anybody done that? The StrengthsFinder 2.0?
Strength what?
StrengthsFinder 2.0.
StrengthsFinder, no.
I'll see if I can find it. Anyway, it's it gives you back a report that's like 20 pages. And reading that report, I remember the first time I was reading it, I take it every couple of years because we change so frequently. And this is something that's so important to remember. Who you were 20 years ago is not who you are right now. Who you were 6 months ago, hopefully, isn't who you are right now. So that this need for self-awareness and really understanding how you function, what you think about. Andrew, you did the StrengthsFinder? So the two Andrews are the only ones that have done it?
Yeah.
There you go. Well done, sir. Well done. But you're constantly changing, especially if you're working in personal development, you're launching businesses, you're in a relationship. You never want to be the one that's stagnant, right? So we're always growing, always increasing. So anyway, so StrengthsFinder, I read this report, and man, the first time I read it, I was with somebody and I almost wanted to make sure they couldn't read over my shoulder what it was saying, because it's like, it's just so into your head. So if you haven't yet, I recommend taking it. Somebody, let's see if I don't even know if I could pull that whole thing up. That's one hell of a link. Yes, StrengthsFinder 2.0 Gallup. Yes, that's it. Discover your Clifton strengths. Yes. But there's gotta be, no. So there's one that's just below that, StrengthsFinder 2.0 Tom Rath. So that's the Clifton strengths, and then there's the Tom Rath one, if you pull that up, okay? If that makes sense. Sundar just put that up. Okay, moving along. The reason I bring that up is because when you start looking at a morning routine, now inside of Miracle Morning for Entrepreneurs, Hal Elrod starts talking about a morning routine and the value of, and there are some key components. I am very much of the opinion, guys, as we talk about things, I'll give you some foundational things that I've learned. We'll talk about success principles from other people. There are certain things that are hard and fast truths, but when it comes to something like this, like a routine, there's got to be flexibility. You've got to be willing to be flexible with yourself as well, because what may work for Paul or Dilip or Andrea or Diana may not necessarily work for me and Charles and Matthew and Teresa, right? There's going to be some changes, and you have to be okay with that. But you also have to be willing to push yourself into occasionally that zone of growth, which is going to be uncomfortable if you want to change and improve and progress as an individual, right? Are we all, any questions on that? Okay. So before I dive into some of the stuff from Hal Elrod, I'm going to hit on some of the key points that I want to focus on. Some of them are fairly straightforward, but what are some things that you guys have in your morning routine, either in the chat or if you want to, Dilip, Saver. So we'll jump into that. So what are some things though that you guys have that are in your morning routine that you do or that you try to do every day?
Exercise.
Okay, so exercise is one, and that's in the Saver. So we'll talk a little bit about that. What else?
I try to do a walk and then put half an hour of just breathing and other things.
Okay, so walking, and breathing.
And then write out my plan for the day. That's what I try to do in the first 90 minutes of the day.
Drink tea?
Meditation.
Jeff Reese, are you just super excited about tea? Is that why we've got the extra A's? Devotion, exercise, meditation, glass of water before the coffee, good. Gratitude, visualization, music, study, meditate, workout, good. Excellent. Good. All of these are part of the Savers for the most part, right? Bible app, Bible year plan, meditation, gratitude journal, 23 minutes. It sounds like pretty much all of you guys have, in one way or another, you've got some in place, right? Everybody's doing something, which is great. Prayer, gratitude, excellent. So I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I do. We're going to talk about what Hal Elrod does, and I want you to break it down. We're going to look at the reason that some of that's there as well, and why it's important. One of the first things that I do, so Hal talks about it. Some other places that you may have seen it where they talk about, drink your water before coffee, right? Everybody does that. Hydrate yourself. So I call it super hydrating. So I will grab, typically it's like a bottle like this or a large cup. So this is 33 ounces. I try and do like a 32 ounce cup of water. Very first thing before I do anything, I get up and I just chug the water. Now there's a couple of reasons for this. Before I started doing this, I spent some time, I became certified as a micronutritionist, certified live blood analyst. Nutrition has always been important to me. Hydration is one of the biggest things that people suffer from in general, especially first thing in the morning, right? Think about it. You've spent the 8 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours, some of you guys even less, sleeping throughout the night. And oftentimes as you're breathing, you're losing moisture, right? I mean, that's part of it. We sweat during the night. How many of you guys, and I know this happens a lot more with men than women, but you ever weigh yourself in the morning versus at night? And like I can lose, it's scary, but I can lose 2, 3, 4 pounds sometimes overnight, right? Most of that is moisture. Like you don't get super excited about losing weight. Oh my gosh, I lost so much weight. It's water, right? So I super hydrate. The reason is when we go throughout our day, if you are dealing with fatigue throughout your day, one of the reasons you deal with fatigue is because the energy that your brain needs, the energy that your muscles need comes from your blood flow, right? And it comes from oxygen. Does anybody know what is the vehicle through which oxygen is carried throughout our body? Where the oxygen is stored? Does anybody want to throw that out there? Bet you didn't think I know I got a personal trainer on here, so somebody.
Your blood cells?
Your blood cells, absolutely. Your hemoglobin, right? Your red blood cells. That's where the oxygen is stored. So if I'm dehydrated, what happens to those red blood cells? They become sticky and they start sticking together. Now, I can't remember the French word. It's like roulette or something. But what happens is, if you guys have seen blood cells, right? And maybe I should have had some of my my micronutritionist slides ready for you. But everybody knows what a red blood cell looks like. It's essentially kind of like a donut where there's not the hole all the way through. And they're supposed to be kind of that pancake style. If you're missing iron and vitamin B, then the hemoglobin will not be able to carry as much oxygen, right? Okay. So all of you, vitamin B and iron, I never did anybody's blood where I didn't find somebody that was at least a little deficient in that. I'm just going to say that, and those aren't things that are bad for you. You would have to take so much to worry about it, taking too much. And there's a big difference when we talk about, if you go do your blood work and they tell you, hey, you're fine, right? They tell you you're not anemic. It doesn't necessarily mean that it just means that you're within their numbers, right? And I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent I wasn't planning on today, but all of this boils down to then the daily minimum allowance that they talk about. Most countries kind of follow kind of that 2,000 calories and here's your vitamins and everything else. I've got Courtney's asking what brand of vitamin B. Just about any of them will work. Really a lot. Vitamin B you can find a lot of them. And I don't have an Amazon store selling any of this stuff. So maybe I should step one up. But the daily minimums, all of that was designed around pre-World War II or around that era. And it was designed around men and women that were around 5'4" and 120 to 130 pounds. So yeah, Charles, B12, and B complex and everything else. So think about it, especially some of you guys, right? Like the average amount of vitamins and things, right? Think about how active you are in your life and everything else. All of our bodies are going to react differently. So all of this aside, if you're dehydrated, your blood stacks like a stack of coins, or it'll get clumped together in other ways. It won't travel through your body, so it won't get the oxygen where it needs to get. So that creates brain fog, creates fatigue, muscle soreness, right? If you get hit with that afternoon, it's not just the caffeine, guys, right? What caffeine does is it thins out the blood vessels, it opens them up a little bit because you're dehydrated, and it'll end up allowing things to push through a little bit more. But this is why super hydration, that's why I do it, and I do it first thing in the morning. So drink your water, especially before coffee, but hydrate yourself. Are we cool with that? Move along. So that's the first thing I do. I get up, I go exercise, and you know, some of you guys are talking about a walk. I will spend time without. How many of you guys honestly, be honest, within the first 5 minutes, grab your phone? Be honest. There's no way. Okay, there we go. We got a few people that are actually starting to say yes. Okay, all right. A lot of us do, right? And I have to constantly check myself. First off, because where do most of us set our alarms now? With our phone. And you turn off the alarm, and then you do this, like before you even get out of bed, you're checking the alarm, and then all of a sudden you're swiping over and you start looking for different stuff, right? Let me check my email. I'm going to check my text. Why don't I have text? Why didn't this person text me? Why? Oh, so-and-so is supposed to email me back at 7 o'clock in the morning. Why haven't I gotten anything, right? And we just start that off. So Andrea, if the meditation app is there, that's great, as long as you don't go anywhere else on it, right? And that's the thing that a lot of people struggle with. Pick it up, turn off the alarm, set it back down. Go get your water, take care of nature, and then start your day. Now, Hal Elrod, let me kind of dive over there. We're going to get into this a little bit, all right? Let me pull this back up. So the reason that we talk about this, the reason we go into personal development, the reason I have these calls, guys, great quote here by Jim Rohn. Yes, I absolutely stole this image. I didn't create it myself. AZ quotes. Wasn't me. But your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development. The reason we have these calls, the reason we tell you to read, the reason we tell you to do all this, so that you can start developing yourself. All right. So we're talking about Miracle Morning. Hal talks about, really, it's all about, like, it's getting up at the crack of dawn. It's the 4 and 5 a.m. warriors, everything else. I've tried over and over and over. I always struggle getting up that early. I have, however, created a morning routine around my time frame, right? Renee, it's almost easier to look at you like that because you were looking off to the side and you had this Golden Gate Bridge behind you, and it just looked like you were sitting on a cliff looking off into the distance. So just left me smiling. Anyway, all right. So inside the Miracle Morning, he talks. What's that?
You want the Golden Gate back?
No, you're good. All right. So he talks about savers, right? So first thing inside that is silence. How many of you guys actually utilize silence in the morning? Okay. Now, this is where parents go, it's impossible, right? And I get it, especially you moms, right? I get it. It's hard, right? First thing I do, I want silence, and then they're going nuts right now, but I get this, right? The dog's wrestling around. I got to get them out. They got to do this. I got to do that, and how do you meditate with that? How do you meditate with the kids running around? How do you meditate with your husband walking in and going, honey, where did I leave my blah, 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 right? Or gentlemen, you're dealing with whatever. Any of you, husband, partner, even if you're single. Now, let me ask you this. Throughout your day, because not just morning routine, silence becomes important for us. How many of you throughout your day leave the radio on or leave the TV on in the background while you're doing other stuff?
Oh, no, I can't do that. You're
doing dishes, the TV's on, right? There's always something going on, okay? Or, how many of you guys are the ones that you'll put the TV on when you go to sleep so that there's some static?
Be quiet.
No, I don't know.
So when it comes to, Matthew's saying he uses music for some types of work. So like I'll listen to like some movie scores. Like I have a Pandora station that's based around the Lord of the Rings music score. It's like Last of the Mohicans and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of classic, right? So I'll do that sometimes. There's also some, that's set to the frequency for success. Like YouTube's got some of those where it's just nice. But here's why silence and actual silence is important, guys. I want to kind of show this. So Hal says in the book, he says, if you want calm, clarity, peace of mind, start with silence. Thank you. But purposeful silence. So here's why, and hopefully you guys can read some of this. So it seems, maybe I need to make it a little bit bigger. It seems to have the opposite effect on the brain of noise. Noise can cause stress. Noise at any level causes stress to the brain, right? It does. It causes stress and tension. It'll do that to where your brain starts to tune out noise, both positive and negative. So someone talking to you or doing whatever, that's why you zone out, is because you're so used to noise in the background, your brain starts to zone out, okay? Study published in the Journal of Medicine shows that this Dr. Hart discovered 2 minutes of silence can prove to be even more relaxing than listening to relaxing music. What happens during that time? The brain is actively internalizing and evaluating information. Silence relieves the stress and tension, and it replenishes our cognitive resources. Our brains have a limited supply. Veronica, 5-month-old noisemaker. I get it. And it's hard when you've got a young one. It's hard when you've got an old one. It's hard when it's just you and a spouse. It's hard when you're alone. Guys, every single one of us has a different situation. Every single one of us struggles with silence. And when I say silence, I mean silence. Like no music. Not even your occasionally, guys, you need to, not even the meditation app, not my, Africa by Toto or some of the other songs, right? Matthew, you use heavy metal. Look, it's okay in certain moments if you're using the heavy metal, if you're using, classical music, whatever. It's okay for some of those moments, but sometimes your brain needs silence, okay? Studies have shown, and I'm not going to get it, like you can find these guys, and it started with mice, and then they've kind of started doing kind of, different studies with humans and silence, but silence will help regrow some of our brain cells and help with cognitive function. Okay. So turn off the noise once in a while. Just shut it off and allow yourself to focus. Try and do that. Now, 2 minutes, if you're not used to meditating, how many of you guys, the first time you sat down, noise canceling headphones? Let me ask that. How many of you guys have done not just the noise canceling headphones? How many of you guys have ever done like like a float tank, the saltwater float tanks? Has anybody ever done that? The sensory deprivation? Anybody? Oh my gosh. You should absolutely do it. If you've never done it, go do it. It's crazy. First off, you're floating in salt water that's like, it's your body temperature. So after you're in for a little bit, you feel like you're floating. You absolutely do. Your body doesn't know the difference. There's no sound. You can leave music on if you want, but if you turn it off, it's literally like it's silent. And then you can turn off all the lights and it's dark. Scuba diving is probably a lot more fun, but this is, look, $50, $70 for an hour or something. You can find a coupon on Groupon for 2 or 3 sessions. Totally worth it. First one will probably freak you the hell out, and you'll need to do a second one so you can actually get some value out of it. I was 30 minutes into the first one, and I started getting claustrophobic and had to open it up because we're just so unused to it. Oh, Renee, they absolutely have them in Vegas. I promise you they do. Yeah. But it's an amazing experience. If you're unused to meditating, or you only meditate with music, try to do a 2 to 5 minute stretch just with silence. Okay. So that's the first challenge for today. Guys, try and find a moment to be silent. Javier, it's the sensory deprivation tanks. They call them float tanks, saltwater float tanks. Different companies call them different things, but you can find them. Typically, you can find them on Groupon.
Sorry, Andrew. So you're saying that the noise cancelling headphones would help because
yeah, if you're looking for those moments of silence, they can absolutely help, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because I live in an apartment. There are quite a few. It's an apartment surrounded by a lot of other apartments, so you can imagine how it is. So
yeah, look, I'm here. I've got, we're in a condo. We've got 3 dogs. Occasionally, it's the neighbors are walking by the hallway. You've got anything. Just find a way to cancel noise. Find a way throughout your day to not have the noise in the background as distractions. Find a way to just be silent and treasure those moments, because it will help your freaking brains, right? Okay, let me hit on a couple of key points as we move forward. Affirmations. A lot of you guys have come from Bob Proctor. Affirmations, I don't think I need to spend a ton of time on. There's different ways to do these, guys. And this goes beyond just I am a millionaire and I am this and that. Like, talk about things of who you are, your character and your actions. I think for me is one of the better ways to do it. Let's see, it's more than just that positive thinking. You're triggering your brain in different ways, right? Different is that one of them, when done right, boosts your vibrational frequency and has the ability to rewire your brain. So we are looking at consistently changing that programming, the software that we have uploaded in our brains, right? That's essentially what affirmations, what we're trying to do with them. Okay. So there's some great ones on YouTube you can find. If you got the book, The Miracle Morning for Entrepreneurs, you can go to their site, sign up for some free bonuses. They'll send you some stuff. I know Bob Proctor's got plenty of things. So there's a lot that you can do there. I'm not going to spend a ton of time because a lot of you guys already know this. And if you have questions about it, you can email, but a lot of these, you can find some pretty good ones on YouTube. Visualization is the next one. This is from Jack Canfield, right? Chicken Soup for the Soul, that guy. It activates the creative powers of the subconscious mind, motivating to work harder at creating solutions. I think this is when we're talking about our ideals, we're talking about our goals, visualizing yourself doing that. That's creating your vision board. All of these things are absolutely fantastic, right? So I don't want to I want to talk a little bit tomorrow about the last couple of points, and I'm going to dive deeper into a couple of aspects when we talk about exercising, reading, and scribing and writing things out. But having a routine, guys, one of the things to remember. So he talks about these key points in the savers, right? And he talks about, it's silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, scribing. In one form or another, having those things in, you don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do it. If you can get some of this done to start your day will end up being more productive. I mean, that's the bottom line. Find times throughout the day for exercise. Find times throughout the day for silence. It doesn't just have to be in the morning. But when you start, this is about taking control and putting it in your hands, as opposed to letting everything else. Too often we are reactive throughout our lives. We're reactive because of the phone. We get that text, we get that email, we immediately start to respond. The kids pull us in a direction, our spouse pulls us in a direction. Something happens in whatever is going on. This allows you to start to control. This allows you to start to, and those small tasks of getting things done. Right. And when you start to accomplish the smaller task, it empowers you to go after the goals, which will help you achieve those ideals down the road. Right. Does that make sense for everybody? We good with that? Right. I want you guys to evaluate your own morning routines. See what you're doing now and what you can add to it. Okay. Customize it for you, but be willing to push the envelope for what you've been doing. Okay. So it all boils down to self-awareness. I know certain things. I know what I'm going to struggle with. So I'm going to push myself a little bit each and every day. Right. And there's a limit to that. We talk about meditation. So look, I'm not going to be able to spend 2 hours every day meditating. I can't do it. Right. Life doesn't let me do that, but I can put in the 5 and I can maybe stretch that to 10 because I can maximize other stuff. If you can become more productive because your brain isn't fatigued, because you aren't as tired, how much more time do you gain throughout your day, right? I can get work done when I make sure I hydrate, when I'm focused, when my routine's at least close to on point every day, I get my work done in half the time, and it just opens up my day, right? And each and every one of you guys has the power to do that. You have the power to make those decisions, and find a way to rock and roll. So rise up, rise from the ashes, go out, fly like the phoenix, everybody kick butt. Matthew, Paul, I'll be talking to you guys in a little bit. Diana will talk to you in now about 90 minutes. So Dilip, let's see. Yes, Dilip, you're, and again, if any of you guys are struggling getting a hold of the accountability rep, message me. Rob, I messaged them. They should have gotten a hold of you. I hope they have. If they haven't, I'll check to see.
Yeah, no, I have, yeah.
Okay, good. Anybody else, feel free to send me an email. If you are looking for one of the recordings from one of the other calls, let me know, and I'll try and get those to you. But guys, evaluate your morning routine. Find some time for silence for yourselves, and learn to be more productive for what you've got. Increase your own capacity, and then we start to leverage everything else. Okay, Dilip, yeah, just message me and we'll get you guys set.
I was looking for Mondays and Tuesdays, Andrew, if possible.
Okay.
I can send you an email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
I'll get you.
Perfect, Andrea. I'll send you an email separately then. Okay.
Excellent. Matthew and Paul, I'll be sending you a Zoom link in just a minute.
Thanks, Andrew.
Hey guys, it's a crazy week. If it's not for work, I recommend staying the hell off of social media, especially if you're in the US. Just stay away. Your sanity. Just
Trust me, Andrew. I live in the other part of the world. It's no better anywhere else.
yeah, it's crazy for everybody. Diana, I will email you a link. I'll email you a link.
Are we going to get the link for the 1 o'clock call, Andrew?
Yes, I'll email it to you. I'll email it to
Thank you. Later.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll drop
Take
you a
care,
note.
guys.
Andrew. Thanks
Be
for your
good.
time. Thanks. Bye bye.
Be positive.
Thanks, bye.
Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.